just wanted to start off by saying you made a really smart call by attending this session. In all seriousness, I think when we look back on the cloud, is this working? Seems like it's cutting in and out a little bit. When we look back on the cloud in 10 years and we talk about how it changed everything and why people don't store data on file shares and on their desktop anymore, sure, we will talk about the ability to share a file. And we will talk... Still working? He's coming. We will, I'll keep talking and we'll see how it goes. We will talk about the ability to share a file. We will talk about anywhere access, your data anywhere. Should we just switch out? Gremlins. Take two. Yeah. Sure, I'll just keep this on. Cool, thanks. So, but in the 10-year history of the cloud, we will be talking mostly about how intelligence fundamentally augmented our ability to deal with massive amounts of information. I fundamentally believe that's true. We're going to talk about ways where that's already true today, but this is the tip of the iceberg. Like, seriously, this is the reason people are going to say the cloud was successful and the cloud changed things. Yes, backup, anywhere access, sharing files, that's all important, but the game changer is going to be the things we talk about today. And so with that intro, my name is Adam Harmetz. I help run the product team for SharePoint Experiences All Up. I'm here on stage with two absolutely wonderful product leaders. I'll let them introduce themselves. Kristen.
Hi, I'm Kristen Kameth. I'm a PM on the OneDrive and SharePoint team, leading our search and intelligence efforts.
And I'm Anna Roth. I'm a PM on the computer vision team, which contributes to cognitive services.
A quick shout out to Anna. She flew the red eye, got in here at 5 a.m. today. She is leaving at 4:30 p.m. to go back to Redmond. So it's an honor to have you here today. Please, quick round of applause for the effort that she made to be here. I think it's awesome because it makes the presentation so much stronger to be able to bring people that work on sort of the front of the stack with people that work on the back of the stack. We can talk holistically about how all of this is working today. So the basic agenda we're going to have is I'll frame a little bit, give you a little bit of ammo so you can go back to your team and say, hey, why this is important, and here's a framing of how it fits into our larger story. Kristen's going to look through how we have a bunch of out-of-the-box value, so you don't need to sort of wire anything up. Just like, here is some of the awesome intelligence you get for free. And then Anna's going to take us through how you can use Flow and other process orchestration engines to hook this up to Azure Cognitive Services. If you have some custom business process you're just trying to augment with intelligence and machine learning. So with that, let's see if this clicker works along with the mic. We'll talk about evaluations at the end. So I don't need to really read this whole slide, but if you are looking to go back to your organization and talk about why looking at intelligence and augmenting your employees' ability to work with content, with AI, and with Azure Cognitive Services, and with our out-of-the-box functionality, these are some awesome stats. Our attention is split in so many different areas. I think everybody in this room feels that. Here are some great stats that sort of show that. 20% of the time looking for the right information. I think for me personally, it's more like 40%. But we are dealing with an ever-increasing amount of scale of data. And you see venture capitalists and you see the industry investing in this in major ways. These are billion-dollar investments in 2016 from VC firms in this intelligent tech. So without a doubt, we are in day one of this transformation, but absolutely you're seeing early reasons for why this needs to be invested in, how, and you see the framing of this, our company mission is to help people achieve more. This is not about replacing people. This is about augmenting people, helping people with real problems about how they need to look for right information at the right time, as opposed to pretending that going to be in the not touch technology today, apparently. I'm not doing any of the demos, so we're fine on that. So with that, this particular talk is part of basically what we call ECM, or rebranded industry, as Azure Cognitive or as content services. You want to keep going? I sort of want the live stream to work too, so even if you can hear me, Yeah? Something coming? Okay. A third. Right here. Thank you. No problem. Thank you. Great. So this is part of a larger content services track. There was a content services overview with Chris McNulty and Dan Kogan yesterday. If you were there, you saw this level of a little bit of framing. And I think it's a little helpful just to have some sort of context about the larger content services framework that this just fits in. Because I don't think you should really be thinking about intelligent strategy and how to use AI independent of how to also augment it with manual processes, how to use it as part of your information protection platform. And so we really see the future of ECM, the future of content services, as framed around these 4 key areas. The ability to create content and how we help you with that. We'll talk about how AI helps with that, but we'll also talk to you about how manual processes, the OneDrive mobile app. We may not talk today, but in general, from Microsoft, we're talking about a variety of things. In Coordinate, it's really about how we help you share with others. And so you can see how AI can automatically help you do that. We can use signals processing. We'll show a couple examples of that today, but also the ability to continue to invest in metadata and manual tagging. One of the themes you'll certainly hear from Microsoft is that this balance between curation as well as intelligence and AI is the leading winning solution in content services. By no means is AI going to be replacing the ability for a good curator to say, hey, here is the most authoritative content. Certainly in the early days and even in its eventual consistency, I was just asked by an analyst yesterday, do we think AI will be replacing the need to have manual tagging and metadata? It'll augment it, and it'll be a mix of both. And so it is important as we think about and talk mostly about intelligence today, is that we reframe that as part of the larger effort. And of course, protection is an incredible important part of content services. And you can see how many of, just the simple thing we'll show today where you can extract the transcripts of a video file. That is incredibly important to unlock the content, have it fine for an end user to be able to search. But it's also really important for e-discovery. All of a sudden, all this content can be found as part of the legal discovery process. And then harvest is probably where the most obvious part of intelligence plays in. One of our core value props of SharePoint and Microsoft 365 and our teamwork pillar is harvesting collective knowledge. And that is the notion of we all spend a bunch of time creating content, and how much can that be reused, repurposed? What is the ROI we can get over that content creation because it can be used in places people weren't even expected or by other people in the company or organization that didn't even realize this content existed. It's partly about discovery. It's partly about making it easy at the time and the moment to be able to repurpose and reuse the content. And so, that is just a core overall framing of content services that is a snippet that helps you frame up this larger stuff we'll talk about today. Of course, there was a whole drill-in session yesterday if you're looking for the big picture on our future of enterprise content management in ECM. With that, I wanted to invite Kristen back on stage, and she will talk us through the next part of the talk. Thank you, Kristen. Here we go.
Okay, thanks, Adam. So you may be asking yourself, is artificial intelligence really good enough to solve these problems? Or is it just hype? And we've done the research, and it's really already transforming businesses. In fact, it's transforming the world in general. In medicine, universities are already predicting viral outbreaks, alerting government agencies, communities, and healthcare providers via AI. In Malaysia and Brazil, we're able to predict dengue outbreaks with 85% accuracy. In marketing, people are using natural language processing AI to evaluate customer feedback, understand sentiment, qualitatively assess how products are doing, and when they're not doing well. And it's not just those industries. It's also R&D, finance, supply chain. there's many, many applications where artificial intelligence is really transforming the environment. And even on our team within Microsoft, AI is helping our productivity every day, helping us find content faster, and helping us discover new content that might be relevant. So next, I'm going to invite Anna to the stage, and she will share with us some examples, real examples, where people are using Azure Cognitive Services to transform their organizations.
Oh, I have 2 microphones now. That seems high risk. Okay. Yeah, so we're extremely lucky to have a number of customers using cognitive services kind of in what I would consider to be the content management area. For a variety of things, everything from being able to kind of index large quantities of video to customers who are taking social media feeds and analyzing them for sort of analytics purposes. I think we're, of course, very lucky to have this wonderful quote from Lightspeed Systems on their use of Content Moderator, which is one of the cognitive services, and how they're able to kind of use that for content management. And there's all kinds of case studies on the web. These, I think, range from content management systems to other things, but I would have a kind of special recommendation that if you want to read a little more on how folks are using cognitive services today for content management, take a special look at Gray Meta there and VigiGlobe, which I think are the 2 that are sort of the closest to that area and kind of available online.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, so as Anna said, there's a bunch of public case studies that are available on the Azure website if you want to read more about how people are using this technology. But for you, what we want you to come away with is it's not just looking at the examples, it's also thinking about how can AI transform your business. So with that, I'm going to start to dig in on what we offer out of the box to start. So the first thing that we do is, for media, we extract insights from media using AI. So I'll give you some examples. The first thing is for images. For images, our AI analyzes the image and then figures out, is this a document? Is this a outdoor photo? Is this a receipt? Is this a business card? Is this a blackboard? Is this a whiteboard? And that's all visually analyzed. And then we also look to see, is there text in this image? If there's text in the image, we also add that text as metadata to the image. The other thing we do is for audio and video files, we extract the transcript from the audio and the video. This tech, the great part about working with Microsoft is we're very closely tied with MSR and Azure, who are on the cutting edge of this research. So the tech is great as it works today, and the AI is improving. So when you come back in a year from now, it'll be even better at recognizing the text and classifying images and pulling out transcripts. So that's one of the great points with working with an integrated set of services. And this is really powerful. Why is this really powerful? Previously, all of this content kind of looked like a black box to us. The only way that you would know what's inside the content is to open the content and consume it, right? Like look through it, play the video, play the audio, in order to know what's inside the content. But now, because we're able to pull these insights out, we can automate a lot more. So number one, it's much easier to find the content because you don't have to open every image or open every video and play it. It's easier to discover because now that we have this metadata about the images, we can show you relevance-based views where the content is more relevant to you. You can initiate workflow. So when a keyword is inside an image or listed in a video, you can kick off a workflow. You can protect the content. So based on those keywords, you can apply DLP policy to say, hey, don't externally share this, allow external sharing of this content. And then finally, it's accessible. And that means a lot so that all of your users can consume this content. So we're not just utilizing intelligence on media. We're also utilizing intelligence on documents. So inside our file hover card, we've added a new section called the Inside Look section. And using intelligence, we've extracted the time to read of the document and the key points from within the content. And that information is very useful to help you triage whether you want to read the content now or later, or if it's even the right content to read. Okay, now I'm going to switch over and show you some of these insights in action. Sorry, it looks like it went to sleep on me there. Okay. So you may know that you can have camera backup turned on in OneDrive. That's a great feature because you can take an image from your phone and it's automatically stored in OneDrive. But the problem is getting back to those images, right? A lot of times they're dumped in a big folder and then they all have weird names and you're like, where was that image I wanted to get back to? And you can't find it. So you can go to the search box and search based on what the photo is of. So we just talked about how you can search whiteboard. And you can see whiteboard is nowhere in any of the images titles. But you can see these are all images of whiteboards. So that's very powerful. You can also search by the text in the image like we were talking about before. And you can search by, let's say that one of my colleagues told me that I should look at this video called About the Modern Workplace, but he wasn't sure what it was called. I can just search modern workplace. Oops. I'm a two-hand typer usually.
More than ever, dynamic, impactful content is critical to the modern workplace. Introducing SharePoint Spaces, letting anyone create mixed.
So you can see that modern workplace wasn't in the title, but it was in the transcript. And so search was able to return this video to me. Great. And this is great. You can see it's a great viewing experience as well. So not only can I follow along with the transcript while the video is playing, because there's some background noise, I can also look ahead and say, I'd like to go to the point where they're talking about 3D. And I can scan ahead in the text and just jump to that point in the video. The other thing is these transcripts were created using AI, so AI did the heavy lifting to create the transcripts. But like Adam said earlier, AI is not perfect. So there are going to be times where it doesn't get a keyword or a sentence looks a little bit awkward. And that's why we've also included an edit command. And this allows you to change, if there's like one or two words you need to change, you can go in there and correct it. And then finally, I wanted to show you our file hover card. This is powerful in two scenarios. One of them is around when you share out a document and you want to know who's read your document and when, on the file hover card, we have this information. So let's say I shared to Deborah, and I'm just wondering, has Deborah viewed this yet? Here I can see that she has, and then we can follow up, and I have that context for the next conversation. But also, when I'm exploring a document library, I might be wondering, what's the right document to read? Here, I can just hover over the file, and I can see the reading time and the key points from within the content. All right, now I'm going to call Anna back to the stage, and she's going to show us how you can extend capabilities, because OneDrive and SharePoint is a platform. We offer some stuff out of the box, and that'll continue to increase, but we also allow you to extend to whatever scenarios are most suited to your business and connect to all the power of Azure Cognitive Services.
Moment of truth on. Is this one working? Oh, beautiful. Yes. CJ, sorry, I gotta get a little help here. Awesome. So yeah, as sort of Kristen teed up, one of the really exciting things that we're able to do here is take some of the various services and sort of capabilities that have been exposed via the Azure platform, and then use them in SharePoint to kind of enhance your ability to kind of manage and search content. And so in particular, today we're going to use one of my favorite tools, Flow, which I feel like I probably don't have to sell to the room, is an outstanding way to do process automation. But we'll show how you can actually use something like Flow, call into some of the services we've exposed in Azure, and even get kind of a second level or additional sort of machine intelligence related capabilities added to kind of manage, search, and work with your content. And so in particular, we're going to start here with an example where we're at Contoso Electronics, Contoso Corp, definitely Contoso. And we have generated a list. We're backing up all the tweets that where people are tweeting at us. And, it can be a very high volume. And so in this case, what we'd like to do is go and see, what are the tweets that I have to really look at, like the ones where something has gone really wrong. And if I'm getting hundreds or thousands of tweets, I can have a lot of social media managers, but that's not super scalable. One nice thing is if I could kind of automatically go and triage them and find the most critical things. And so in this case, I want to find things where the sentiment is very bad or maybe very good, so I can retweet it. And so we've actually made this really easy to do in this case. There is there's an existing sentiment analysis functionality that's in one of the Cognitive Services APIs. And so I'm actually able to go, select a tweet, do sentiment analysis on tweets, and we're going to go and actually look at this flow in a second, but let's just run the flow real quick and see what happens. And so with relatively low latency, we're going to send up the text of this text from this person who's kind of a hater, honestly, about Vienna. He says, I hate Vienna, it's the worst. I hope Contoso LNC never goes to Vienna. It rains, I hate pastry. This person's not going to like Seattle either. Palaces, diesel fuel, and the opera. So this is a very low sentiment. Out of 100.8, not so hot. And so, if I was going through my tweets, I would definitely want to sort of sort by sentiment and find this one near the top so I can decide if I have to triage it and respond to it. And so let's actually take a look at how we were able to go and do that so easily. And so, as I mentioned at the top, we're actually going and using Flow. And Flow makes it super easy for us to go and add these capabilities in. So we're using kind of the SharePoint sort of step here. We have a site, we say, okay, we want our site, we pick our list name, so our list is social, and you're really just dragging through these boxes, site address. So here we're selecting what's the list. The next thing we're kind of iterating through the list, we're getting the individual items in the list, we're going by entity. We send this in, so we're taking the tweet from this SharePoint entity, running it through detect sentiment, which just calls our sentiment API, and going back and updating the list. And so what's delightful here is it's sort of a no-code way of being able to add sentiment analysis capabilities to SharePoint exceedingly easily. So I think that kind of gives you a sense of being able to use kind of a pre-built capability. But one of the nice things about what we're doing at Microsoft with sort of artificial intelligence is kind of bringing people along a space from sort of like pre-built capabilities, things that are even included in SharePoint today, so the video transcription feature that you saw, to the ability to kind of add things that are available in the cloud, but also pre-built, so kind of common cognitive services capabilities. And then all the way down to kind of customization, and that goes everything from some of the APIs we have to make that easier, all the way to like, you know, great support for some deep learning frameworks and distributed training and the kind of very complicated end. But today we're trying to go kind of one extra step, which is we're going to talk about how you can add customization, once again, in a very simple, easy-to-use kind of process to add your own custom rules using a service we have called Custom Vision Service. And so some of you guys may have seen this in Jeff's keynote, but I think we're going to talk a little more detail kind of in this demo on how it works. And so the story here is that we have a chain of cupcake stores or kind of bakery stores. And you know, at our stores, first-line workers are responsible for setting up the displays. And you know, like any store, we have kind of some policies, some desires. Our marketing team is really hyped, for example, about cupcakes right now. And you know, there's a message from corporate to every single franchisee that says, you know, right now, this month, you should be showing off our special cupcakes in your display window. You know, and you ask, in this example, you know, we have our first-line workers go and submit a photo that says, here's the display right now, kind of, is this up to snuff for what the expectations are? And while I love looking at baked goods, and I definitely spend a lot of time like flipping through Yelp, as an employee of Consumer Electronics Cupcake Division, you know, I'm not super hyped all the time about having to kind of manually check off, does every single one of my hundreds or thousands of franchisees do this correctly every single month or every single time there's a policy change? And so, you know, you can see some of these cupcakes here, and what I want to say is like, good job on the cupcakes, that's right. And these folks obviously did not like pay attention to this month's memo. And so we're actually able to even do that. And so let's do an upload here of an image. So we got our cakes image here, upload. Now it's going to run a flow connector. It takes a second here to load. But what I've actually done, and we're going to look a little more in a second, is I have built a custom model to evaluate, are there cupcakes in this image? And so we have some tooling that makes it exceedingly easy to go build customized models for your business. And you can see in this case, for our Cupcake Corp, you know, with very high confidence, there are cupcakes in the image, and that's correct because we've got cupcakes in the image, so I don't even have to go and look at that picture manually. You know, if somebody from my franchise uploads that, I can just look at the score and say, good enough, high confidence, there's a cupcake in there. I can now kind of go focus on doing other higher value work right now. And so how do we do that? And so in this case, we once again use Flow, and we'll look at that in a second. We're actually calling into one of our cognitive services. And so this one is Custom Vision Service, which I'm partial to because I work on it. But also because it's an extremely easy way to go and build customized classifiers. So Microsoft provides a lot of kind of pre-built computer vision models. Cupcakes is not actually one of those. And there's also lots, you know, there's plenty of things that are particular business domains that, you know, it just doesn't make sense for us to kind of provide as a pre-built model. And so what this lets you do is you're able to upload some images, kind of sample images. You hit train. We do a bunch of stuff in the back end to build you a reasonably robust object detector or image classifier. And then you have, you know, for you a trained model that you can call either as an HTTP endpoint up in the cloud, or you can actually also download your model to run it locally on device, or download it as a container to go deploy, you know, Azure App Service anywhere you want. But the real story here is that, you know, this is a tool where you're able to take your expertise about your business, you know, your domain knowledge about a particular area, provide that kind of like that labeled, annotated data, and not have to worry about the rest, right? We're training you a model, giving you an endpoint. And so when we look back at our cupcake demo here, what we're doing here is we're just calling into this cupcake model that I went and trained, well, that CJ actually went and trained, in Custom Vision Service. And so the flow is a little more complicated here. There's a little more steps, you know, top is the same. Now you're going and calling into the Custom Vision Service. This, you know, output's a little more complicated, so we're doing a little more in terms of like parsing the output here. But it's roughly the same idea, right? Send an image to the cloud, get back a score. but in this case, it's an image that's very specific to kind of your business and your needs. Switching back here. Oh. Awesome. So we've seen kind of the demos, but I want to talk a little bit more about, I kind of mentioned offhandedly the cognitive services, but I want to talk a little bit more about kind of what these capabilities are, to kind of give you a sense of what you actually can go put into SharePoint. So I get a sense for the room. How familiar are folks with the cognitive services today? If you've used them before or feel familiar, can you raise your hands? All right, so middling, maybe a third. So I'll go into a little more detail. So effectively, the cognitive services are a set of services that are hosted in Azure as kind of like their cloud services. And they're designed to be very, very simple, straightforward, easy to use APIs. So they're all REST APIs that expose different kinds of commonly used kind of machine intelligence or artificial intelligence features. And so there's kind of 5 big categories in which they're available. So we have vision, which is what I work on, and so we expose a bunch of different, a bunch of different kind of core capabilities in the area of computer vision, things like face recognition, face detection, so that's a big one, emotion recognition, OCR, which I want to give a special call out to, because we actually just updated the OCR engine a couple of months ago, and it's substantially improved, video analysis, content moderation, and then that custom vision service that you just saw. Speech gives you standard things like speech to text, text to speech, and even custom speech recognition, which I do want to also call out as highly exciting, because that's one that gives you speech but customized to your industry. So let's say you have a particular jargon, where like if you were to like try and talk to Cortana or Siri, it like wouldn't necessarily get everything because it's a particular jargon to your industry. And you can customize your speech model into your kind of language model, but also even the audio model. So if you have a particular microphone or a particular audio environment. Once again, with the ease of using a REST API to do that. So the whole language category, so that gives you like text analytics, for example. So the first demo that we saw when we did the speech sentiment, that's actually an operation in the text analytics API. It also gives you stuff like language detection, language translation, spell check, a knowledge category that includes things like content personalization, and then search. And so these are all the Bing search APIs are available here. And so, lots and lots of capabilities, don't have to memorize them all now. I think the really big takeaway for this slide is you have all of these services where we try to make it basically out of the box or out of the box with customization that's very light and easy to do, to give you access to these kind of common, highly important kind of business-focused capabilities for machine intelligence. And in a little more detail, you can actually see the list of APIs here. There's also a bunch of talks at Ignite on the cognitive services, I think still some outstanding. And so if you get the chance, I strongly encourage you to go see some of my teammates giving a talk. But there's lots of capabilities. We're constantly kind of adding and updating to these capabilities. And the really clutch thing is you can now go add these capabilities to SharePoint, to OneDrive, use it to find content, index content, search content, and with great ease, because at least for a reasonable fraction of them, there are actually pre-built flow connectors. Now I know this begs the question, which is that some of these boxes are blue and some of them are notably non-blue. One magic thing about Flow is that actually you can also do custom REST connectors. And so with Flow, that should be capitalized, sorry, it's making me really anxious. With Flow, actually you're able to even just upload like a one API spec. So you just like upload that file, and you can go and create your own custom connector. So for example, if you want to use the Bing Entity API, and there isn't a Flow connector for it yet, it's as simple as like download Swagger, upload, you have a Flow, you have a new API. And so for any of the cognitive services where there isn't a Flow connector, you can do that. You can also do that if you're hosting your own models that you've trained using something like Azure Machine Learning. You have that hosted somewhere. You can also go and very quickly add that to Flow so that you're able to kind of go through your content in SharePoint and do kind of additional content management. And so I think to kind of recap, there's kind of 3 big boxes of stuff that we looked through. So the first thing was that out of the box. So kind of as a recap, you saw there's stuff like OCR, there is video transcription, there is image tagging, so these kind of core models that are very kind of broadly useful for being able to search and index content. Already you're getting that out of the box in SharePoint and OneDrive. And the kind of second thing is you're able to use the Flow connectors to kind of connect to a bunch of the cognitive services, so you can go and get additional AI content, stuff that isn't yet built into SharePoint, but is useful for your particular scenarios. And then finally, there's that third category of do it custom. If there's a flow connector that you need, you can very simply kind of add it yourself. And then what content can you access? All sorts of content in SharePoint and OneDrive, with a note that dot content and page content are on the roadmap. And speaking of the roadmap,
Sounds great. So, hello? You will have seen a lot of this in the ECM talk that was earlier in the week, but this is just kind of, I think Anna did a great recap of what is in product now and what's coming. And yeah, so I think that it's basically all the things that we've talked about, plus we're adding new capabilities around what types of information you can send to Flow, what types of capabilities that we'll offer out of the box. And we'll continue to innovate in this space, and we'll continue to get the latest drops of technology to make the recognition and the classification and the text extraction even better over time. So thanks so much. Please come to the mics if you have any questions. And you guys want to come back up? Yeah, great. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Did you want? Just one. Yes, sir.
It takes a long time to get here. So when you talked about flow connectors, is all of this included in licensing, or in some cases when we work on Power Apps and Flow, there's the premium licensing that requires that for custom connectors or for premium connections? Do you know?
Honestly, we're not licensing experts. We build the thing, and then the business people figure out how to sell it. So I wouldn't want to give you anything too detailed. Like, there are some licensing restrictions with Flow, and of course Azure Cognitive Services can at times, you're running your own Azure instance, but I can't really answer the detailed questions.
So customers don't like to be licensing experts either, but we've had to get a PhD
Sure,
in it.
I'm happy to. I think we know each other well enough. I can connect you to your licensing expert at Microsoft, but I don't feel comfortable with the product team giving answers like that. Okay, well, you want to answer at the mic? We have the time.
It was the question on the same line, but in a different concept. Like this capabilities of AI, we will get it by default in our tenant, or we have to buy something extra, or we have to do something extra for this, or we want to use a AI capability on a particular SharePoint library. Then can we use it? How it will be included with our services? Like,
well, it depends. It really is a spectrum. We're committed to providing the base features of AI out of the box. You've seen some of that already with the demos, certain elements of transcription, the ability to detect objects. Custom models are run in a custom Azure instance that you're paying for on your own. And so, we're in early days too. As we add more functionality, it's going to be a mix and maybe it's good feedback for us to try to get some business people up here for the talk next time to be more clear on that. But it is going to be a spectrum.
What about face recognition and people tagging of pictures?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so in the cognitive services, there is a face API, and so that gives you face reco. You can you have to train it on people that you're trying to recognize, but you're able to do face recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, but not like the tagging of whiteboards and things like that, so that you can do it online.
Yeah, we've heard some. Okay, so there's a picture of every person in AD in my tenant. Can you automatically recognize them in photos? We've heard that before. It's not on the roadmap right now. So I'll just provide clarity about that roadmap. But it is something we've heard, and we've bandied about the office a little bit, but nothing that's bubbled to the top right now, just to give you clarity.
Hi, capabilities like the video transcript I thought was always originally part of Stream, like that was a dependency. So now we're seeing it in SharePoint. I'm just wondering, does this break that dependency?
No, and I meant to call that out. I forgot. So Stream uses the same transcription technology, and they'll continue to have the cutting edge video intelligence tech. But we felt that this tech is very useful for not just your content in Stream, but also your content in OneDrive and SharePoint. So OneDrive and SharePoint is the place that you collaborate on content, and that content still needs to be accessible and searchable and protectable. But then also, when you want to go publish content, you can go put it over in Stream, and you get those same capabilities and more for video.
Right, so it works in both.
Right.
SharePoint and Stream.
I mean, it's a matter of time before transcription's just as ubiquitous as video playback. I mean, it's early days for that, but that's one of the reasons we decided that's not a difference in where you store the file. Like, you're going to be able to play the file, and someday, I mean, it's just going to be so commonplace, and we're just trying to get ahead of that. There will be other premium AI features you'll probably see in Stream only, dedicated to publishing, and that's where we're going to put a lot of them first, but transcription's probably not one of them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Just kind of an implementation question. So all the different kind of text, especially the sentiment analysis components, all the demos have always been around Twitter-based data, and there's a lot of kind of like rumblings in the crowd that, you know, it's trained on Twitter data. And I'm wondering how, like, if that's actually true, one, and then two, if it's not true, do you see gaps based on like how all the demos are kind of Twitter versus actual workplace conversations, since, you know, colloquialisms don't necessarily fit into workplace dialogue?
I'll start with why a lot of the demos are Twitter data, and then Anna can maybe give a little bit more insight about from the Azure side. One of the things that is a limitation of what we have today is that there's only certain types of data that you can use Flow to connect to Azure Cognitive Services, and lists is one of those pieces of data. And so we thought it was a very convenient scenario that marketers would use to import social media data into a list and then analyze sentiment. But we do, like it says on the roadmap slide, we do plan to have more content types like document content and page content, maybe even content from comments, feed into Flow, and you'd be able to analyze sentiment on that as well. But I think there was another element to your question, which is how is the sentiment API trained, I think was?
Yeah. Sure, so I can give like some context. I actually work on the vision side, but you know, I give enough context here. So particularly on text analytics and really all the cognitive services, you know, they're sort of well optimized for kind of the most common scenarios. So we try to build general purpose services that can take lots and lots of different data types and lots of contexts and do okay. But they are kind of like optimized for certain scenarios. On text analytics, one very strong place to look at is actually reviews. I think even more so than kind of social media, it's exceedingly common from kind of a business case to have like medium and long form reviews, and you want to be able to say, you know, is that good or bad? When it comes to kind of like other kinds of business content, I think like the intention is to perform well and the test sets are kind of relatively robust, but it's hard for me to kind of like in the abstract speak to sort of any and all arbitrary text on the internet because, you know, like I'm sure it would perform terribly on like subtle poetry, for example. Like that's just like not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's an academic problem. That's a research problem.
Thanks everyone for all the, oh, there's one more question. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
I had a question about search connectors that's in planning. I'm with the SharePoint administrator and building SharePoint search solutions. How does it work then with the cognitive services? Because metadata, you still have to set up yourself. Is this something that will be detected automatically so you can use those columns information?
Yeah, I'm happy to follow up with you offline here. Briefly though, the search connectors were announced as part of our new Microsoft Search product this week. It's very early days. Mm-hmm. This was sort of, frankly, something we announced pretty early in our development cycle. We have not gotten to the level of detail of the question you're asking. I'd be interested in hearing exactly what your needs are. We're still figuring out the final architecture for search connectors, the first-party integrations, how it connects with the things you see in Power Apps and Flow, as well as to Azure and Azure Data Lake, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's early days. So you can influence the plans rather than me. There is no plan to disclose to you right at this second.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, do you need to worry about like privacy or security of the data that you run through Flow and these cognitive services?
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna a little bit punt and tell you to go to the Azure Trust Center. And so for the majority of the services, they follow all of the same sort of compliance, privacy, security guarantees that are provided by kind of all Azure services. There's a couple of carve-outs where for various reasons, mostly in the search category, there are some kind of differences in terms of processing. But for the most part, like I would go to the Trust Center, but you can treat them like Azure services.
And then there are a variety of tools in Flow for admins to be able to control the security boundaries, disable certain connectors, et cetera, et cetera. Like Flow, since it shipped a year or two ago, has added a ton. I mean, not only related to anything related to cognitive services, but just the ability to manage data leakage or prevent data leakage through the Flow connecting system. So they have added just a host of IT controls. So there's plenty of drill-in sessions to look in on there. Because I think this is a class of a larger problem of data filtration to process orchestration. And they have some really good tools to prevent that.
All right, well, thanks everyone. Oh, one more.
Well, I think we're out of time.
Yeah, okay, thanks everyone. Then we can answer your questions.